Okay, so here I am, 33 years old, trying to teach myself to draw. The dream is to maybe one day create something that I am actually proud of. Now, most of these stories, they start the same way. I've been drawing since I was a kid. You couldn't take the pencil out of my hands. So I asked my mum if that was the same case with me, and she literally laughed in my face and said, no, that was definitely not you. Fast forward, and here I am. I've got a stable, fulfilling job as a primary school teacher. And there is so much that I love about my job, but that has started to change. There's kind of been this itch that's been pulling me in a different direction. And here's the reality. I wasted 2 years before I even got started. I faced some real demons with learning a new skill completely from scratch. And throughout this whole journey that I've been going on, I've had to come to terms with the AI art boom and what that might mean for me. So the question I have to keep asking myself is it even worth it? I'm fortunately one of the lucky ones. I don't hate my job. And I can really only imagine how difficult this process would be if I really did hate it. But I've recently just crossed that 7-year mark and I'm really starting to feel that 7-year itch. And I've started to realize that I really don't want to get to the point where I absolutely hate my job. And I remember Ali Abdaal talking about this concept called the region beta. And it's kind of this middle ground where you don't hate your job enough to be compelled to actually do something about it and quit, but you don't love it enough to be fulfilled by it long term. So you end up kind of just sticking it out. And that's me. I'm grateful I have a well-paying job that has genuine impact, but still there's just this itch for something else. Another part of my job that I love is mentoring other beginning teachers. And it gave me a really big spark recently when I met an early career teacher that is in her mid-40s. She's got a family, she's got kids, and she's jumping into a completely new career path. And she said something to me the other day that really stuck with me. She said, well, at worst, I've got another 20 years of my working career, so there really isn't an excuse why I can't make a change. And that really hit me. I could start now, or I could look back in a few years and say, you idiot, why didn't you just start? So that's what I did. I just started trying a whole bunch of different stuff. I tried writing stories. I started 3 different YouTube channels. I've done Instagram. I dipped my toes into so many different things, and I honestly felt nothing. The only time I felt that spark was when I was truly creating something. And then one day, out of the blue, my partner asked me a question that would change my thinking. She said to me, if you could wave a magic wand, what is one skill that you would love to have? And I didn't even hesitate. I said it straight away. I wish that I could draw. See, as a kid, I never really drew. It wasn't a passion of mine, but I loved anime. I loved cartoons. I loved Studio Ghibli. I was always drawn to really incredible art. But drawing, that seemed impossible. That was a skill that people were born with. But honestly, I just decided, fuck it, let's see what happens. So at 32 years old, I picked up a pencil and I started. But here's the thing with starting late is I didn't even have a jumping off point. So the procrastination began. I spent months researching the right way to learn to draw, the right way to start, before I even picked up a pencil. My algorithm on YouTube was flooded with Proco and Mark Brunette, and I hadn't even drawn a single thing yet. The time I wasted was unreal. Eventually I did start, but it was a juggling act. I play so many video games, I work full time, I read lots of books, I've got a family, but something amazing happens. The act of learning something new, learning something challenging, and just showing up every single day to do that became very addictive. So I stopped searching for the right tutorial or waiting for the perfect time, and I just started to draw. But the best part about starting late is that you suck really, really bad. And that means that progress comes really quickly. Every little improvement feels so huge. But then the next hurdle comes and it hits so hard. Once the honeymoon period ends and you start to explore more and you see what really lies ahead, and then you start to analyze and see how bad you really are, that's where motivation gets crushed. Art is supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be creative, right? Just make stuff, don't be afraid. But here's a reality that I've kind of stumbled across. Learning something new with intention, something that feels like your escape or your North Star, it really makes every mistake you make feel enormous. Every misstep and every error you make feels like it's affecting your future, that it'll really slow you down, and that's where fear creeps in. When learning is tied to survival or big life changes, it starts to feel a lot heavier and a lot harder. And if you compare that to something when you're learning for fun, when you're playing board games on the weekend with friends or playing pickup basketball, you're just doing that for the joy and growth happens naturally. It's a lot lighter. For me, this was overanalyzing and trying to optimize and find the best way and the right way to learn art. If I just started drawing sooner and not hyper-focused on the method, I would have progressed anyway. And I would have found so much more joy in the art of creation and not in the pursuit of optimization. And yeah, I hear you, here's the kicker. Why even bother learning all of this art when AI can just spit out what I want to create anyway? Is there really any point to this if AI could possibly just make this as obsolete as it's already made other jobs? But here's the thing, here is my 2 cents from an absolute nobody on the internet. I think that art is safe. The way that I think about it is like cooking. If you rock up to your friend's house and they've got this spread of delicious food that makes your mouth water, the first thing that you do is you gush about how amazing it looks, and that it must have taken them hours and they've slaved away in the kitchen for it. And then you start to question their process, you start to question the flavors that they've created. How did they do this? How did they make that? And then they tell you, oh no, I ordered it, Uber Eats, time saver, it's the best. Your reaction is not the same. it immediately saps the life out of it. It looks like food and it tastes like food, but it's just off. Your initial reaction is now deflated and the conversation ends. And this is without getting into the ethics of the whole thing. Human created art is about the process, it's about the skill, it's about the struggle. If I see something amazing and then I learn that it's AI generated, my brain moves on. What we admire as people is the skill and the effort that lies behind the curtain. It's the unknown journey that we're attracted to. AI art, that's typing in a cheat code. It's a cool image, but there's no story, there's no emotion in it. So for me, learning art isn't about the competition. It's about the challenge, it's about the routine, it's about the growth. It's safe because the human element is always going to matter. And the other thing with all this that I've realized is that people actually do care. I kept it super quiet at first. The only person that knew that I was doing this was my partner. But then I started to share it and the response was, cool, I've always wanted to learn to draw too. And it was encouragement and it was support, and more than that, it was accountability. Unlike all those other side projects that were just a flash in the pan, this is one that I'm not going to quit at. I don't know exactly where this is going to take me, whether I'll reach my lofty goals or not. Maybe I'll create those picture books that are burning at the back of my mind. But I do know one thing, I have absolutely no regrets about starting. But I do know that the only way that I won't reach those goals is if I had never begun to begin with. I haven't said anything profound today, but if you're hesitating like I was, maybe this is your sign from some random internet stranger. There's never going to be the perfect time. There will never be the perfect circumstances. You just have to start and you just have to stick to it. See where you land. Who knows, you might surprise yourself.